Good morning, students. So let us start a new topic, which name is probability. Okay, so probability is very important part of your mathematics. It is a very important branch of mathematics, and lots of things of probability all of you will study in higher classes. That means after 10. Okay, up to 10, just the introduction of probability is given to you. I think all of you got in class the basic things in class 7 also. Okay, so before starting the probability, going to the concept of probability, at first we have to write some definitions, some commonly used terms. First one is experiment. Okay, so all of you write experiment. One or two definitions definitely come in your exam. Okay, experiment. First thing, an operation which can produce some well-defined outcomes is called an experiment. Okay, an operation which can produce some well-defined outcomes is called an experiment. Very important definition. Next one is random experiment. So next one is random experiment. So an experiment in which all possible outcomes are known and the exact output cannot be predicted in advance. Is called a random experiment. It's a very important definition, and this type of definition will come in the exam, which you have to write the definition with examples. So examples are given: rolling an unbiased dice, tossing a fair coin. Suppose if you throw a dice, all of you know that there will be result either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, but you cannot predict that throw 1 will appear or 2 will appear or 3 will appear, 4 or 5 or 6. Okay, suppose you toss a coin. Definitely all of you know that whenever you toss a coin, that either head or tail will appear. That means total number of possible cases you know that either head will appear or tail will appear. Except head and tail, there will nothing appear whenever you toss a coin. But you cannot exactly tell that either head will appear or tail will appear. That type of experiment is actually random experiment. Okay. Another important definition is sample space. Next one is sample space. Okay, sample space. When we perform an experiment, when we perform an experiment, then the set S, of all possible outcomes is called the sample space. Is called the sample space. Okay, suppose you throw a dice. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That 6 things are okay. So let us discuss the example. So okay, take an example. When a dice is thrown, then the sample space is S equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the sample space is written in the second bracket, and the elements are separated by commas. Okay, so these are some examples. This is some theorem with your examples. Okay, sample space. And another one important is event. So what is event? Any subset of a sample space. Any subset of a sample space is called an event. Okay, suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the sample space, then 2, 3, that will be event because they are subset of S. Okay, so now mathematically exhaustive probability is a ratio. Let us discuss that part. Mathematically exhaustive probability is a ratio of number of favorable cases to the total number of possible cases. Okay, so it is given that P event equal to favorable cases divided by total number of outcomes. So it is symbolically written as P of E. That means probability of an event is number of favorable cases, number of E. Number of favorable cases, total number of sample space, number of possible cases. So probability of an event is number of favorable cases divided by number of total number of possible cases. So this is the basic things of probability. So in my next video I will start the exercise 12.4.